Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures.
And the truth of the matter is, I'll tell you what my favorite thing to do at a race is to be done with a competitive heat and then just to kind of go back out in the open and to find people who it's their first time and to be with them. Maybe they're not racing with anybody. Maybe they are, maybe they got left behind, but to like race for a little while with them, to help get them to a wall, like to help them get over a wall, to help them with it. I think to watch that look on their face the first time, they do something they didn't think they could do, to remember what that felt like for myself. I think having people look, the elite athletes get most of the attention, of course, like that makes sense. But I think there's so many people like me who are out there really, that is the majority of the sport. And there are incredible stories in so many people's journeys. And again, just this being with somebody during an open race and watching them experience these firsts, it's just, honestly, it's my favorite part about racing, to be frank with you.
Absolutely. And I know I recently saw something that was like, it was like, go run a marathon, it will change your life, but go spectate at a marathon and that will change your life even more. And I was just, It's so true. Like, you can be the best of the best, but in order to give back to help that community and help people over their own obstacles is something that I think that's what's most important.
Yeah. I mean, we think about, the word impossible, and other writers have talked about this, but there's impossible with a capital I and impossible with a little I, right? And there are people who do these impossible with a capital I feats, right? Who break records in the marathon or in the mile. Again, I think about some of the things that I have seen a Ryan Atkins or a Lindsay Dawn Webster, like those are really worth celebrating. I think some of these start to go toward the impossible with a capital I. The woman who just was the first finisher of the Barkley marathons, which is a hardcore, brutal race. Google Barkley marathons if you haven't heard of it. And I think that's just incredible. But then there's, the things we all need to do with the impossible with a little I in our own lives, right? Maybe we're not breaking records, but we're pushing and breaking the records we actually thought for ourselves. And that change can have a ripple effect, as you said, about the pond, like throughout the rest of your life. And so I do think celebrating the stories and lifting up the stories of other people is, I think it's a good nod and a tribute to the sport to do that.
Absolutely. We are closing up on our interview. I do have a couple of more questions for you, but before this, I have to talk about your dog Dolly passing away in this story. I don't know if you're aware, there's a website called doesthedogdie.com, and you type in the movie you're watching and it will tell you like the end of the dog, like do they live, or do you have to watch a heart-wrenching moment? I actually had to stop reading. I had tears pouring out of my eyes. I grew up with a golden retriever that we had to put down due to cancer. My parents still have golden retrievers like in their home, and Dolly's passing devastated me. How did you find the courage to write such a vivid story about her life?
So, had a little time in between it, but I hope, right? You never know, but you just talking about her, it honors her, right? I mean, absolutely. I think pets can be like children. And what was the name of your golden who died that you were so close to?
His name was Domer.
Domer. Okay. So you're talking to me, a person who was a stranger until a little while ago, about Domer, right? This is how much animals can resonate and just be such a part of our life. And she was so brave through her treatment of cancer. She was like one of those like dogs, I feel like, their soul is a part of your own soul. And I wanted to be able to honor her, but she was also a part of my journey in racing, right? Like once she died, that's when I finally was like, now what do I do? I've been taking care of her for so long. Like and that's when I finally went to an obstacle course racing gym and got like somebody to train me. I had this big void in my life. And there is still not a single race I have run where her dog tag has not been tucked into the back of my running pants. Every single, like 50 races now, I have carried that with me, and I will. And so anybody who's had a pet they loved, I think will understand, and they will also understand if they read the book, and I hope they do, why you put the book down during some of those moments, because the passing of a creature you love, it's, it's like nothing else in many ways.
Yeah, Mike came down. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "The dog." I'm like,
The dog.
she didn't make it. He's like, "Are you gonna stop reading the book?" I'm like, I had to like walk away. I made myself dinner, and then I went back to it. But I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know this dog.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, look, you love animals, golden retrievers, and look, as I said in the book, I don't even know how, if you have people who have sick children, I don't even know how they can bear it, because bearing it with a pet is so brutal. But we're all, if we have pets and they outlet, like, we're going to have grief about it. And I didn't think I would ever get another dog, but I do have one now, and I love him to death. Very different dog, but that's okay.